There is a structural paradox sitting at the center of nearly every private estate and family office, and almost no one has the language for it. Before I name it, I want to be clear about something. I did not arrive at this way of seeing from a library. I came to it from decades inside these environments, including working with one of the largest family offices in the world. I've spent over 2 decades inside this profession's leadership, on professional association boards, on conference stages, and in the rooms where conversations happen quietly. And over, I have watched brilliant, capable people on the operations side of private estates fight for credibility in a language that was never built to describe what they do. I've watched estate owners, some of the most accomplished people on the planet, become exhausted by the very systems designed to serve them. And my doctoral research asks one central question: why? The answer is not what most people expect. The side of the system most responsible for daily life, for how the household actually feels, for whether the family's values show up in how life is truly lived, is also the side that cannot prove its value in any language the institution is designed to hear. And the side that can prove its value has been quietly running the show. Not through bad intention, through structure. Capital side functions, finance, legal, accounting, risk management, can point to clear outcomes. Wealth is preserved, risk is reduced, compliance is maintained. These are tangible, defensible, easy to communicate within governance frameworks. Now ask the operations side to do the same. Ask the estate manager, the director of residences, the chief of staff, the people responsible for translating all that preserved wealth into lived experience to prove their value in the same language. They cannot, not because the value isn't real, but because the metrics were never built for what they do. The only lever they can often point to is savings of time or resources, but even those are shaped by the owner's lifestyle choices, not by the operations leader. And the remaining metric, the one that actually captures their work, is the owner's lived experience: happiness, alignment, ease, which is real but subjective. It shifts with mood, season, and circumstance. It cannot be easily placed in a report or defended in a governance review. So the most important work happening inside the estate exists in a measurement vacuum. Capital appears to perform, culture appears to spend, and the system rewards what looks measurable. That framing is not only inaccurate, it is structurally destabilizing. I want to be very clear because this changes everything about how we approach solutions. This tension is not caused by difficult personalities. It is not simply a communication problem. It is not solved by hiring a different advisor or having a better onboarding conversation. Those things matter, but they are symptoms. The source is structural. It is about where authority lives inside the system. It is about whose knowledge gets counted when decisions are made and who remains outside the boardroom. In most family office environments, governance has been embedded within the capital side of the house. Legal, finance, and risk functions do more than advise. They define the evaluative frame. Operations and lifestyle leadership are positioned to implement those decisions, not to shape them. This is what I call governance being mislocated. Governance becomes embedded within capital functions rather than positioned as a neutral architectural layer guiding both capital and culture. And when governance is mislocated, even the estate owner experiences friction and decision fatigue without ever identifying the true cause. It feels interpersonal. It is actually architectural. And if you are a principal or estate owner watching this is not a critique of how you have led. It is an invitation to see the system you are inside more clearly than the system has allowed you to. The families at the center of these environments are some of the most accomplished people in the world. It is a privilege to serve people of this caliber, and it is my life's work to see them successful, fulfilled, and free from the mental weight the complex lifestyles quietly impose, free to focus on leadership, innovation, and legacy. But here is the reality few people say out loud. When capital and operations are not working in harmony, the burden falls on the owner. They become the coordinator, the person holding together a constellation of advisors, subject matter experts, and service professionals, each excellent in their own domain, but with no shared framework to connect them. The wealth that should create freedom begins to create complexity instead. Until capital and culture work in harmony, not in opposition, the client will never be fully served. This is the paradox that capital and culture exist to name. Capital and culture does not argue that operations should dominate finance. It argues something more precise, that stewardship and governance must sit above both domains, not inside either one. Capital and culture are two legitimate centers of authority inside a living estate. Each governs its own sphere. Capital asks, can this endure? Culture asks, is this being lived well? Both questions are necessary. Neither is sufficient on their own. When governance operates as a constitutional layer above both, capital and culture stop competing. They begin functioning as a system, and the owner, for the first time, steps out of the middle. I've spent my career inside this profession and my doctoral work asking one central question: why does a field this sophisticated, serving people this influential, lack a formal academic foundation? That question built this framework, and answering it is the work I intend to continue for the rest of my career, not for academia's sake alone, but because research grounded in lived reality has a ripple effect. It changes how we hire, how we train, how we educate estate owners about the systems they live inside. It reshapes governance structures, leadership models, and the way this profession understands itself, so that what has been researched becomes what is lived. And the ripple effect of that is clarity, kindness, and a profession finally recognized at the level it has always operated. When people inside these systems finally have language for what they have long felt but could never articulate, something shifts. Estate professionals recognize that their intelligence their work has always required. Estate owners recognize tensions they've interpreted as personal and realize were structural. Seeing the system clearly does not remove complexity, but it transforms confusion into understanding and tension into information. At its best, estate management is not about perfection. It's about leadership that can hold both formality and family life, where service feels 5-star, even though a home is not a hotel. This work is deeply personal to me because this profession deserves to be seen at a level it has always operated. Thank you for exploring this conversation with me. The framework introduced today, Capital and Culture, is the subject of a full academic white paper available by request at no charge for those who want to go deeper into both theory and application. The link to request it is below. These are the conversations happening quietly inside of some of the most complex private environments in the world. The more language we have for them, the more clarity and leadership become possible. I look forward to continuing the conversation.